Hello friends, Brandy here with Falcon Healing Arts. I hope you are doing really well and enjoying the spring weather. However, I know that there are many of you who are actually having seasonal allergies right now. So this may not be your favorite time of year, and I want to help you because there was a time when I had seriously bad allergies. And I would get secondary sinus infections from that. I got on this horrible cycle of taking antibiotics and getting worse with repeated sinus infections. So I was able to pretty effectively heal from allergies. I still have some symptoms here and there, just a little bit of runny nose. I notice itchiness with my ears, but it is nothing like it used to be in the past. And I was able to do this with a lot of natural remedies and definitely changing my lifestyle. So I wrote a blog post several years ago, because it was actually over 10 years ago, where I saw this huge change in my health, where it was funny because like one day I was like, you know what? It's been quite a while since I've had an allergic reaction. Like I didn't notice it like that. But it was significant when I was looking back and realizing how much time had passed. And it was cumulative. Having made all these lifestyle changes, definitely not just one thing. And so you'll want to look at this blog post that I wrote, check out those natural remedies, and I know that there will be a few approaches on there that will really speak to you. So there were 5 main remedies. I'm hoping that if you try 3 of them, that will be enough to help you make a shift. But in today's video, I want to talk more and go deeper beyond how to just treat the symptoms and actually talk about the root of allergies, the root of this dysfunction. And I'm not just talking about seasonal allergies, but allergies in all of their forms. So food allergies, contact dermatitis, even being allergic to bee stings and other things that the body perceives as being a threat. I did something similar with the topic of constipation last year. I did a video and a blog post on the deeper reasons for constipation that a lot of you found both interesting and helpful. So I'm thinking that you will really like this topic too, because there is often a deep, energetic, emotional, even spiritual root to most common chronic conditions. But before we dive in, I want to clarify that just because I'm saying there might be a deeper cause of allergies, doesn't mean that I want you to abandon the way that you are treating yourself right now. Definitely talk with your healthcare provider, especially if your allergies are serious. But even if you do have a life-threatening allergy and have anaphylactic reactions, knowing that there is something deeper may be really helpful for you. So you can be working to heal the root, and you may notice that your allergic reactions become less severe. So there is nothing to lose from investigating this approach. So now that we have that cleared up, let's take a big step back and look at what is happening when you have an allergic reaction. Your body becomes red, hot, inflamed in certain regions where you're having this allergic reaction. And this response is triggered by the immune system that perceives that something is trying to enter that does not belong, something that can harm you. And a lot of people talk about allergies as their body being confused, and I completely disagree with that. It is, of course, an overreaction, but I don't think that the body is leading it. And that is what we're going to get into deeper. The body is actually following a cue from somewhere else in your being. And there are definitely physical reasons as well, where the body is justly vulnerable. I believe that the body is always trying to protect you, support you, and communicate with you. So your body has this reaction to expel this allergen or this perceived pathogen. And there's this immune cascade. Your body produces antibodies. And then once those are established, when it sees this pathogen again, there's a histamine response. That's when we see the redness, inflammation, the itching, the swelling, and your body becomes more sensitive over time. And this reaction can happen anywhere a substance can enter the body. So the eyes, the nose, the ears, the throat, the lungs when it goes deeper. It can happen on the skin. It can happen in the gut. So your body is taking great offense against something. And it would be interesting for you to ask why. Is this something you just accept, that the body is this way? It would be really interesting to ask why. Why this certain substance? Why you? Because not everyone experiences allergies. So it's definitely unique to the person having the experience. And so just have these questions in mind as we explore these 3 deeper reasons for allergies. The first is a stress-induced microflora imbalance. So usually we're talking about gut flora imbalance. Keep in mind that we also have beneficial bacteria on the skin as well. So when beneficial bacteria are thriving in our bodies, and it's actually through their waste, I believe, they secrete this mucus that forms a protective layer, again, in our gut lining and along the skin. And this helps create a barrier so that pathogens, harmful bacteria, viruses, but even food particles, like other proteins that should not go into the bloodstream, it has this protective layer to keep these substances out. But when there is an imbalance of these microorganisms in or on the body, it changes that structure. These harmful microorganisms actually break down that layer. It can create more spaces in between the cells. So you have probably heard about leaky gut. That is essentially what is happening. The gut is becoming leaky. Things can go into the bloodstream that should not be there. And the body perceives this rightly as an invasion. And it can be as simple as food, protein particles from food coming in and causing a reaction. Now, this imbalance can occur from eating too much sugar, from eating a lot of pesticide and herbicide-laden foods. Even GMOs are said to affect the gut lining. So definitely consider removing those from your diet. Antibiotics can throw off your gut flora. And a lot of people don't like to hear this, but that includes vaccines too, which have antibiotics in them, and also toxic substances that can throw off your balance. And there are definitely other substances in the environment too that can affect our gut and skin health. So removing these from your system and then healing with collagen and other substances that reinforce that lining again, and then also boosting your prebiotics and probiotics is a great strategy to follow. However, your flora can also be thrown off with stress. So this is where it becomes deeper. This is where it becomes very emotional and energetic. It's the stress hormones that are throwing off this balance. So you need to be prioritizing managing your stress. If you have any anxiety, you need to treat it. If you're dealing with any overwhelm, it is important to take it seriously. And when you do, you will most likely see that your allergy symptoms also calm down. Because think about it, stress is an overreaction. That is what the body is following. It sees that the mind and thereby the nervous system is in this fight or flight state. And so it has this overreaction happening inside as well. When the mind is calm, the body will likely follow and see that it doesn't need to fight. Okay, the second deeper reason for your allergies is an energetic imbalance. And we're going to look at this from the Chinese medicine perspective since it is so mapped out and easier to understand. So in Chinese medicine, we consider the lung and large intestine, organs, and the channels that traverse them to be responsible for forming our wei qi, our defensive qi. So this is our defensive energy. And you could relate it to what we just talked about with the gut flora, the skin, all of these boundaries that the body already has. But it is better to, when you're talking about a certain system, to actually stay in that system. Otherwise, it gets very confusing. So just talking about this from the Chinese medicine perspective, we are dealing with the lung and large intestine. There are a few other organs and channels involved as well, but primarily it is those two. So when they are weak, when they don't have enough qi, then you may have a tendency to develop allergies and other illnesses, other immune issues. And this could be constitutional. You could have been born with this weakness, like we all have. We all have strengths and weaknesses that have been passed on through generations. And also with the environment that we were gestated in our mother's bodies. But these organs and channels can also become weak with our lifestyle choices. So working with a Chinese medicine practitioner, letting them guide the treatment would be really helpful. And you can work in any of the 5 branches of Chinese medicine. So acupuncture, acupressure or massage, dietetics, herbal medicine, and also with energy healing. So Qigong or any other style of energy healing are really helpful. I do need to emphasize, though, that you need to get regular treatments. Consider how long you have had your allergies. We wouldn't expect a quick fix. This is where people get frustrated, and it's just because we're used to having quick solutions in our culture these days, but we need to give the medicine time. When you are taking a natural approach, it takes time. It takes consistency. So you'll need to have weekly treatments for a while. When you're seeing a benefit, those can be tapered off. But it is definitely something you will need to commit to. You'll need to commit to this treatment plan. And if you are living in the San Francisco Bay Area, I would love to see you at my new office in Belmont. Message me if you are interested in getting a free 15-minute consultation. And the third deeper reason, we are getting much deeper here, is spiritual resistance. So I was doing a thorough Google search and I found an article on PubMed about this, about how spiritual formation is helping people to move beyond their egocentric tendencies, which they relate to allergic reactions. So I don't have access to the full article, but it was a very interesting abstract. I can give you the information if you want to look into that further, if that is something you want to purchase. But it just made me think about this further, that it does make sense. Allergies is about resistance and boundaries, and about being reactive, about fighting something that is not really a threat. And so we can consider that if we are being pushed to evolve, to develop in a certain way, to change, a lot of people have resistance to that. And that is a spiritual process. So just think about that, friend. I just saw this. And so I'm going deeper and I'm thinking about this. When I had allergies, I definitely had a lot of resistance to self-growth and being more aligned with my spiritual nature. Now that I am, that has actually calmed down a lot of my typical reactions to the world. I am so much more relaxed on every level because I know that I have spiritual support. I know that I am a spiritual being in this body, and so I'm looking at it from this different perspective of really nurturing the body, being grateful for this vessel I'm in, and trying to look at things from a bigger perspective. So it's not me against the world or the world against me, but I'm better able to integrate. And that is what we have an issue with allergies, integrating with our environment instead of fighting it, integrating our spiritual nature instead of fighting it or denying it. So if you have really bad allergy symptoms, this is something you may want to consider. What are you resisting? You can journal about this. And then if you want to go deeper, ask for spiritual guidance. Ask for help. That is also part of the issue. Needing to do things by yourself, not wanting, maybe resisting help. So this is definitely something you can explore on your own, but it would be helpful to have another perspective. This is an area I can also help you with in my holistic healing sessions, which I offer both online and in person. And I like to work from the shamanic angle, which a lot of people find really interesting. So I would love to know, friends, what you think of this. Let me know if this rings true. I would even love to know if this was not helpful, if this was triggering, if you think this is all wrong. Let's have a discussion. I love to just think about things deeper because it can help you if you move beyond that triggering reaction and open up to other possibilities. If you did find this video helpful, please give it a like. Share it with a friend who could use this support. I really appreciate it. Thank you again for watching this video all the way through. I wish you health, wealth, and happiness, and I hope to see you again here soon. Take care.